What is up, guys? It's Verns back here again with another Supercoach video. This time it is the NBL Round 16 review. Now, I'll be honest, I have just recorded the video. I'm just going to redo this intro again because my mic was cooking it a little at the start, but I think it was pretty good throughout the rest of the video. So as we can see, we did put out a 545 points. It halved our overall rank to 31 from 62, and we did have a round rank of 12. So an absolutely monster week from us. Felt so good to get that together, and yeah, just really happy with how the team has been traveling. First of all, if you aren't following me on my X, make sure you jump on. You can follow it. It's always in the description, but it is just at Verns_SC. Now, I do always post my trades that I am going to complete for the week before the week starts on there. So in case things have changed by the end of my weekly review. And I did end up changing those. We didn't end up trading in Usher, which would have netted us more points overall, but we did bring in Gorjak Gak. Now, also on that subject, I guess I just appreciate all those that have liked the video, those that do tune in to those that do tune in regularly for their constant injection of Supercoach content. I always appreciate you, and those that always stay to the end. Now, with this as well, if you aren't already aware, but I will be doing a podcast on the Supercoach Hub with the Supercoach Pleb and Scoby. So go ahead to their YouTube channel and subscribe to them. We will be going live tomorrow night at about 9 p.m. Australian Daylight Savings Time. So jump on and watch us there. Hopefully we'll be able to help and you can join in the discussion along the way. In regards to this channel, I still will put out content for the AFL. Probably not too many videos in preseason because we will be putting out weekly videos on the Supercoach Hub channel through the discussion with the Pleb and Scoby. So a little bit less content for the preseason, but I will still be doing my AFL weekly review on this channel as well as all my weekly reviews for any Supercoach I am participating in. So still feel free to jump on to this channel for all that content, but definitely go subscribe to that channel, the Supercoach Hub channel, for I guess content through that way as well, and more of an in-depth discussion through any sports really. They do the NRL, they do the BBL, they've been doing the NBL, and obviously we are going to be doing the AFL. So yeah, appreciate all those that have subscribed to either of those or both of those, and even if you haven't, I appreciate you for being here. But yeah, let's jump into the team, see how we've been going. Going to chop it in here, guys, so catch you in a bit. So we can see we got plenty of money banked up for this week, which is going to make life a lot easier. I was really hoping Scott would have a bit of a bigger week, gain some extra money, and we could maybe make a bit more of a different upgrade that I wanted this week, but it's not going to quite get to fruition. McCall had an awful second game, only I think 16 points in his second game, maybe 18. But had a really banger first game, so that was fine by us. Clark ended up actually having some knee issues. I did hear about it after his first game, but then, yeah, ended up lingering into that second game. First game was massive enough, though, that we got away with a suitable score. And then, unfortunately, Frawling was sitting on our bench, who actually scored the best out of any of our forwards or centers. So lost a few points there, but that's okay. Hongjong Lee came back big with a second game. After that 6 points in the first game, I was feeling a bit stiff. I mean, honestly, he came out, he only got 10 minutes in that first game. 6 points over 10 minutes, that's not too bad. He just didn't get the court time, and honestly, I think shot like one shot in that game. Next game, he shows up, though, and he's fire from the word go, and they can't stop him. He's keeping Illawarra in it. He is absolutely monstrous for them and manages to get 28 Supercoach points down, gets us to 34. So very nice. We take that, considering when we got him in, he was probably only priced at maybe that 15 to 16 a game, so a little bit over what we paid for him, and with the break even, that's very nice. Saying that he's going to be a season-long hold, so it doesn't really matter about what money he makes, as long as he can just keep putting out good performances. Hopefully he can continue to get good court time going forward. That was at the expense of Roberts, though. I mean, it did feel like their strategy changed a little bit at the start of this week. A lot more Blanchfield and a lot of these other bench players just coming on, taking Lee's time, which was a bit unfortunate. But yeah, much better in that second game, and hopefully we can see that going forward, because I think he's going to be really good for Illawarra and our Supercoach side. Humphrey with the 60, we take that. 30 in game 1, 30 in game 2, nice and consistent. Did expect a nice big score from him considering his opponents, though, so a little bit unders there, but that's okay. Now this is the difference one. Instead of going for Usher, we went for Gorjak Gak. Yes, Usher popped off in that second game and kind of punished us for not getting him with, I think, 39 Supercoach points in his second game. But I felt like I really wanted someone with that forward center DPP so I could flip him with rolling and get people moved on field a bit easier. So that was definitely a better for us in my opinion. Plus, I did feel like Williams was a bit more iffy than Doolittle. It felt like Doolittle was probably going to come back for the second game, which he did, and Usher was still very good. But I did think Williams would be a little bit more conservative on his return. Ends up getting rolled out the full season, and it feels like Gak is 100% the correct play, even if it didn't amount to the points this week. But that's perfectly fine. As I said, he did well for us. He earned us a bit of cash. We're going to be moving him on next week, so if he can come out with another 2 good games here, we'll be really happy with that. If he can just finish some baskets at the ring, that'd be really nice, because he did give up a few freebies in the start of that second game, which was a bit frustrating, but that's okay. Also, Hongjong Lee's actual shot at the end, that is goaltended from Galloway, and it is let go. Oh my goodness. Like, I know that obviously it happens in real time, the ref can't, like, it's hard for refs to make that play, but watching the replay, it was 100% a goaltend. It had hit the back foot, and then he smacked it away, and even Galloway just, like, he just looked like, that definitely was goaltend, but it didn't get called, so we just played through it. So, yeah, boy missed out on 2 points there, unfortunately. But then the man of the week, for anyone that didn't bring in Cotton, they would have felt a sting and probably a rank slide this week. 91 points, easiest captain choice, worked out so well for us. My goodness, I'm so happy with the Cotton pick. He's going to be a season-long hold and a good captain for this week. In fact, he's the best captain for this week. If you felt like you were punished last week for not having him, this week's even worse. He's got Illawarra and Sem. And Sem have been bleeding Supercoach points. They have been sucking to a whole new level. And I think the difference with Perth, though, is Bryce is going to play 40 minutes no matter who he's against. So it doesn't matter. They're probably going to run over Sem here. He's probably going to play big minutes, and I'm expecting a really big score from him. So, yeah, going to be really good for us this week. And, yeah, if you're not on Bryce, you're going to feel the sting 10 times harder this week. Kel, really consistent, 238s, really good. This man just, what a superstar since he's come to our team. Really carried us. Really the antipod when everyone was bringing in Adelaide players. And then he's been the best performer since then, and it's just been so good for us. Adams 33, we take this. How fun was this game between Sydney and Perth? Like, Jalen Adams versus Cotton in that fourth quarter. Jalen Adams started off a bit hot garbage at the start of the fourth, but then the last 5 minutes, an absolute shootout between the two. Oh my goodness, were you not entertained? That was good shit. Like, if you didn't see that game, go watch the fourth quarter, like, of that game, because it was just so entertaining. Watch Cotton go down, hitting a 3, Jalen going down, matching him, Cotton hitting a shot, Jalen matching him. Like, it was just back and forth between the two. So good. And look, 33 for a single week. We're pretty happy with that. Scott, a little bit disappointing with a 17 and a 16. Look, it's fine. He sort of scored what he was priced to, and he made some cash for us. And he's going to be our trade out this week. So, look, the other thing with bringing in Gorjak is I definitely needed someone on that double-double, because this week it's an easy trade out for Scott and McCall, and then next week I can look at getting rid of Gak and Adams. And it just worked out really well for our trade plans going forward. For those that didn't watch the video that I did with the ladies' man, Corey Blackledge, you missed out because we went over some good content there. I talked about Gorjak being honestly the best pick of the bunch. I liked him more than the other Gak. The other Gak ended up with pretty good work for you too, though, so you're doing pretty good with that production. We're both pretty hype on Lee, and you would have been pretty disappointed with Lee after that first game, but pretty hyped after the second. And especially for his run home. He has such a good run with Illawarra going home, so it works out very nicely. I also talked about some other players. We obviously mentioned with Doolittle out, Usher still being a good pick. One of the ones that I called out, that I don't know how many points he actually finished with, but I think he did quite well for his price. But we did talk about if people wanted to go down to those 58k rookies, and I said pay an extra 10k, get in our boy Okwera. I think he, at the end of the day, you can pay 58k and get someone scoring 0, or you can bring in Okwera for like 9 to 10k more and get at least something. You would have scored your 16 this week. You know what? 8 points is more. You would have got your 8 more points than the 0 if you bench someone, and he ends up earning probably a bit of money over this coming round and last coming round, meaning that you could then downgrade him again, which would have worked out quite well for you. People on Robinson got absolutely fucking burnt this week by how terrible he was. 19 on a double would have felt really, really burnt. And then the other players, I guess, that stood out, and this is the big difference maker, Kieran Galloway. My goodness, lock this boy in for your team at the start of 2025 season, because He was unbelievable. And as much as Wiley's in this team right now, and he might not have the same production when Riley's back playing for them and he's sharing a bit more court time, but with what he did, I can't see how Adelaide don't keep him next season and he ends up a starting man on their roster. He was so good. Look at this price tag. He might bump that up a bit before the end of the season, which isn't the end of the world. It's good to see that he's, I guess, I forget the word, but just like getting better at the end of the day. I guess growing as a player, and he's going to be producing better numbers going forward into the future. So I think lock this man away for the start of next season. Hopefully he doesn't go too nuts and we can still get him pretty cheap, but I think we could get this man very cheap as of next season. I mean, 11, if he was to be priced right now, he's probably at about that 120k mark. Yeah, it might go up a bit, but I think he'll be a really nice cheapie for us to start next season. So lock Kieran Galloway in for your next season. Anyone that got on him with Wiley out of the team, congratulations. Didn't really work for the structure I was going for because I already have 2 players I need to trade this week, and if I held them to the end of the Adelaide versus Tasmania game, going to have too many players in that game in my opinion. For those that jumped on Creek, congratulations there. As I sort of mentioned it when I was talking to the ladies man, I was kind of really hoping Clark would go out. I really don't want him to go out this week anymore because obviously I used my boost. But if he went out, I was going to boost to Creek. I was going to keep Cotton. And I think that mayhem with Wiley being out as well would have thrown everyone into disarray. And I reckon I could have been at a shout for the weekly if something like that happened just because of me having that boost in my back pocket. Obviously, I don't have that anymore though, so I kind of want Clark to stay on the pitch. And hopefully that knee isn't a problem. But yeah, anyone that got on Creek, pretty happy with the 65 you would be. If you captained him, you wouldn't be too upset with that if you couldn't afford Cotton. He's the 5th highest scoring player, and you'd still be pretty happy with that result, I think. Now, for those few people that got on Webster, he's been in great form, and wow, up 43k. Once again, didn't work for me because I didn't have guard space for him, but those that made guard space for Ty Webster, absolutely nuts. Beautiful bloody, work. He's just been playing really, really well, scoring some great Supercoach points. Priced at 17 right now. Maybe once again could be someone that you look at next season as a cheapie. We'll have to figure that out once we get there. But yeah, some really good scores that have come out of everyone. So we will just jump back into the team and look at my trades for the week. Give me one moment there. And we're back, guys. So look, my trades for the week, what I'm thinking here is at the end of the day, I'd already set this up in advance. McCall's jumping out of my team. We all knew that, and Scott's going to be jumping out of my team. So this will set me up really nicely for the week coming. I was pretty interested in maybe getting a PJC in or something like that, but look, it's really PJC versus Lamb, and I think this guard slot, it's going to work. Look, the guard slot's a really hard spot, but I don't think there's a great on-field player I want to be bringing in from, either New Zealand is what I want to be looking at, or Illawarra. There is somewhere spicy where you could maybe look at something spicy we could be looking at. Let's just say we put in PJC here, is we could look at Luke Travers or something. He's obviously got the double at the end of the season and the double this week, so he's got 2 out of the next 4, so that's not the end of the world, but obviously Illawarra and New Zealand have 3 out of the next 4, and when we're playing for total points, I think that's going to be the better option to look at to get one of those players in. So this doesn't look too bad. I don't mind this as a left of field option, a little bit different to what everyone else is doing, but I think I've just got to stay strong with what I originally organized. We're going for Lamb out, and then we've got to bring in a guard here. Unfortunately, we do run into a bit of trouble where I wanted PJC, but we're falling 20k short because he came out with a massive game, and Scott didn't quite get as many points as I hoped he would. So we fell a little bit short being able to get Lamb and PJC, who were my targets. But I will be looking at, if we do click on players we can afford, someone that's been in awesome form recently. He's quite expensive for what he's doing, and that is Harvey. What I mean is he's expensive because that 22 average, that's not worth 290k. 290k is definitely more equivalent to a 26 average, so his average isn't quite worth it, but he's been a man on the mission recently. He's been in some great form and putting out some good numbers. 69 last week, 61 this week. He's been in red hot form and playing really well. So look, when I'm looking at these players, the only guys I can really afford, if I want to look at the Illawarra players, is a Robertson, a Harvey, or a McDowell White, and I'm not sold on McDowell White. Robertson, no way. So I think I go for Harvey here and just try and roll with the hot hand, hopefully. into the end of the season. So this is how the team will look going into the week. Adams will be on field. He will be playing against South Melbourne as well, so I think he's going to pick up a lot of points there, so I'm pretty keen for that. And then as we see Lamb on the field, we can flip Froling down to the center position and get him on the field for Humphrey. And then we keep Clark on field. So, yes, we have Kel and Humphrey who are on singles. The rest of the team is on doubles. Obviously, Lee and Gak are sort of our rookies at this time. I guess mid-prices at this point. And then Harvey's our premium on the bench, really, on a double game. As I said, not 100% sold on him, but if I bring in PJC, he's going to be on the bench. Travis is going to be on field. I mean, is that going to be more points than Harvey? In Harvey's red-hot form, they could be the same amount of points, where I think Lamb is going to outscore Travers. So I think it's probably the better option here to be going for Lamb. Yeah, it just makes too much sense. He's been too good, and going against Lamb just seems like it could be way too costly. So that's how the team's going to look coming into this week. Hopefully there's no news about Gary missing. Hopefully Clark will play coming through. Hopefully he gets the rest of the knee and he'll be fine for the coming week. But yeah, I think team's looking super good right now. As I said, we're on a great run at the moment. The team's set up so well going forward into the future. A lot of good double games and a good amount of trades. Obviously next week trades, we can look at moving on Gak and Adams, and then the rest of the team is basically on doubles. Cotton will obviously... that's actually a really bad week for doubles because we'll only have... Tasmania and Adelaide, but look, I think it's going to be set up really nicely, making its run home. So anyway, guys, I appreciate you all for tuning into the videos, those that have subscribed and stayed all the way to the end and liked. Really appreciate each and every one of you. But till next time, peace, later.